Ever wondered about the smallest Spanish-speaking country in South America? Well, it's time to put Uruguay on your radar. Nestled between the giants of Argentina and Brazil, this petite powerhouse often gets overlooked, yet it's bursting with a unique charm that's all its own. Uruguay, the southernmost country in South America, is a land of vast open plains, rolling hills, and a coastline that stretches out to the horizon. Despite its small size, it's packed to the brim with cultural richness, historical significance, and natural beauty. Its story is one of resilience and innovation, a country that has grown and thrived despite being overshadowed by its bigger neighbors. It's a place where tradition and modernity meld seamlessly, creating a vibrant tapestry that's as diverse as it is captivating. So let's dive into the rich history and vibrant culture of this hidden gem, Uruguay. Before the colonial era, Uruguay was a land of indigenous people. This was a time when the vast plains, rolling hills, and sprawling coastline of Uruguay were solely the domain of its original inhabitants. A time when the rhythm of life was dictated by the changing seasons, the migration of animals, and the ebb and flow of the great rivers. The indigenous tribes that inhabited Uruguay before the arrival of the Europeans were primarily the Charrúa, the Guarani, and the Minuan. There was a certain harmony in the way these tribes lived, adapting to the land and the elements, creating a lifestyle that was both simple and profound. The Charrúa, often referred to as the horsemen of the Pampas, were hunters and gatherers, known for their fearlessness and tenacity. They were a semi-nomadic tribe, moving with the seasons, following the game and living off the land. Their culture was deeply rooted in a respect for nature and the belief in a spiritual connection with the earth and its creatures. The Guarani, on the other hand, were largely sedentary, living in communal villages and cultivating the fertile soil. They were skilled potters and weavers, creating intricate designs that reflected their rich mythology and cosmology. Music and dance were integral parts of their culture, a way to express their collective identity and to connect with the spiritual world. The Minuan, less known but equally significant, were also hunters and gatherers. They lived along the rivers, fishing and foraging, adapting to the challenging environment. Their society was marked by a strong sense of community and cooperation, with an emphasis on sharing and mutual assistance. These tribes had their own distinct customs, traditions, and belief systems, but they all shared a deep connection with the land, the sky, the water, and all living creatures. They lived in harmony with their environment, understanding its rhythms and cycles, its bounty, and its challenges. Their lives were a testament to the human capacity for adaptation, resilience, and the pursuit of harmony. Then, in the early 16th century, everything began to change with the arrival of European explorers. The colonial era marked a significant shift in Uruguay's history. It's a chapter filled with exploration, conflict, and the undeniable impact on the indigenous people of the region. Let's journey back to the 16th century when European explorers first set foot on Uruguayan soil. The Spanish were the first to arrive, led by Juan Díaz de Solís in 1516. The allure of the New World brought them here, but their dreams of riches were met with resistance from the native Charrúa, a fierce and independent people. A century later, the Portuguese arrived, establishing the settlement of Colonia del Sacramento. This began a long-standing rivalry between Spain and Portugal, both vying for control of this strategic location. The two powers engaged in a tug-of-war for Uruguay, with the territory changing hands multiple times. This period was not just about territorial disputes, it was also a time of cultural fusion and transformation. The Spanish and Portuguese introduced their language, religion, and customs, reshaping the local culture. However, the impact of colonial rule was not all positive. The indigenous population suffered greatly, with many losing their lives to diseases brought by the Europeans or in conflicts over land and resources. Despite the hardships endured, the colonial era was a time of significant development. Agriculture, particularly cattle farming, became a vital part of the economy, a legacy that continues to this day. The establishment of Montevideo in 1726 by the Spanish marked an important milestone in Uruguay's journey towards becoming a key player in South America. As the 18th century drew to a close, the colonial era was nearing its end. The seeds of discontent had been sown, and the desire for self-rule was growing. The indigenous peoples, the Spanish and the Portuguese, had all played their parts in this complex narrative, shaping Uruguay's identity in profound ways. By the early 19th century, the winds of independence were blowing across South America. The colonial era was a pivotal period in Uruguay's history, setting the stage for the dramatic events that were to follow. The fight for independence in Uruguay was a tumultuous journey. This South American nation's quest for sovereignty was as layered and compelling as the landscape itself. In the early 19th century, Uruguay was a battleground for the region's superpowers: Spain, Portugal, Argentina, and Brazil. Amid the chaos, a beacon of hope emerged. A man named José Gervasio Artigas, often hailed as the father of Uruguayan nationhood, led a revolutionary force against Spanish rule in the year 1811. His vision was not just for an independent Uruguay, but for a federation of free lands, a dream that was unfortunately short-lived. Artigas's revolutionary forces were defeated by the combined armies of Brazil, Argentina, and Spain. But this was far from the end of Uruguay's fight for independence. The seeds of resistance had been sown. Fast forward to August 25, 1825, and a group of 33 audacious men, known as the 33 Orientales, launched a daring revolt against Brazilian rule. Their bravery ignited the spark of rebellion, leading to the Cisplatin War, a conflict that culminated in Uruguay's long-awaited independence in 1828. The establishment of the early republic was a period of trial and error. The nation grappled with establishing a stable government, oscillating between presidential and collegial rule. The Constitution of 1830, which remains in effect today with several amendments, set the framework for a democratic government. However, the early years of the republic were marked by intense political rivalry between the two major political parties, the Blancos and the Colorados. This rivalry often escalated into civil war, leading to periods of instability. Despite these challenges, Uruguay persevered. The nation was determined to establish itself as a free and independent state, a beacon of democracy in a region often plagued by authoritarian rule. Despite gaining independence, Uruguay's struggles were far from over. The nation was to face many more trials on its journey towards stability and prosperity. But the spirit of José Gervasio Artigas, the father of the nation, continues to inspire Uruguayans as they navigate the complexities of their nation's history. The 20th century was a time of transformation for Uruguay, a century that saw the country evolve from a primarily agrarian society into a bustling, urbanized nation. The first half of the century marked significant economic growth, driven by the export of wool and beef. This prosperity led to the rise of the middle class and a wave of immigration, further diversifying Uruguay's cultural fabric. But the path wasn't always smooth. The mid-20th century was a period of political turbulence. The military government that took control in the 1970s was marked by repression and human rights abuses. But the Uruguayan spirit remained undeterred. The nation rallied together, and in 1985, democracy was restored. Post this tumultuous period, Uruguay saw significant social reforms. The government prioritized education, healthcare, and social security, striving to create a more equitable society. These efforts were not in vain, as today Uruguay boasts one of the highest literacy rates in the world and a robust public health system. The turn of the 21st century brought further progress. Uruguay became the first country in the world to provide every school child with a free laptop and internet access, demonstrating its commitment to digital inclusion. It also made strides in renewable energy, with nearly all its electricity now coming from renewable sources. Uruguay's political landscape has also been noteworthy. It has consistently ranked high in Latin America for its strong democracy, political stability, and low levels of corruption. It has also been a trailblazer in social policies, legalizing same-sex marriage and the recreational use of cannabis, further cementing its progressive reputation. But what truly sets Uruguay apart is its people. Known for their warmth, resilience, and passion, they have been the driving force behind the country's transformation, ensuring that even in the face of adversity, Uruguay continues to thrive and innovate. Today, Uruguay stands as a progressive and vibrant nation, proud of its rich history and bright future. It's a testament to the power of unity, perseverance, and the relentless pursuit of progress. And as we look to the future, there's no doubt that Uruguay will continue to shine on the world stage. Uruguay's culture is a fascinating blend of influences. Tucked in South America's southern cone, Uruguay's cultural tapestry is woven with threads from Europe, Africa, and indigenous roots. The rhythm of its life is set to the music of tango and candombe, while its heartbeat is the pulsating passion for football. The tango, with its sultry melodies and intricate dance steps, finds one of its homes here. Originating along the Rio de la Plata, it's not just a dance, but an expression of love, longing, and loss. Every step, every note tells a story. Then there's candombe, an Afro-Uruguayan music and dance that's a vital part of the country's identity. Its rhythm, played on 3 types of drums, fills the streets during the vibrant carnival season as troops of dancers and drummers parade through the city in a spectacle of color and sound. And let's not forget about football, or soccer as some may call it. In Uruguay, it's not just a sport, it's a national obsession. The country's triumphs in the early World Cups have etched football into its national identity. Whether it's a friendly neighborhood match or the national team playing, the spirit of football is ever present. But Uruguay's culture is not just about music and sports. It's also about food. The traditional Uruguayan barbecue, or asado, is a culinary experience that's hard to forget. Imagine a variety of meats, from juicy sausages to succulent ribs, slow-cooked to perfection on a parrilla, an open-fire grill. The aroma itself is enough to make your mouth water. This isn't just a meal, it's a social event, a time to gather with friends and family. Uruguay's culture is a reflection of its people, warm, welcoming, and full of life. It's a culture that embraces its past, lives passionately in the present, and looks forward to the future with optimism. Indeed, Uruguay's culture is as captivating as its history. From charming cities to stunning beaches, Uruguay has something for every traveler. This small yet incredibly diverse country is brimming with must-visit destinations that promise to captivate and inspire. Let's start with Montevideo, the vibrant capital city. It's a place where historical grandeur meets modern sophistication. The city's old town, or Ciudad Vieja, is a delightful maze of narrow, winding streets dotted with colonial-era buildings and quaint plazas. Be sure to visit the Mercado del Puerto, a bustling food market where you can sample some of Uruguay's culinary delights. Next, we head to the glamorous resort city of Punta del Este, often dubbed the Monaco of South America. This is where Uruguay's elite come to play, basking in the sun on pristine beaches by day and enjoying the city's lively nightlife after dark. Don't miss the iconic La Mano, a giant sculpture of a hand emerging from the sand. It's a perfect spot for a memorable photo. Then there's Colonia del Sacramento, a charming town that feels like it's been frozen in time. As a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Colonia is renowned for its well-preserved Baroque architecture. Stroll along the cobblestone streets, take in the panoramic views from the lighthouse, and enjoy a leisurely lunch at one of the waterfront restaurants. But Uruguay isn't just about cities. The country's countryside is a patchwork of rolling hills, vineyards, and estancias, traditional ranches where you can experience the gaucho or cowboy way of life. And let's not forget about the beaches. From the chic sands of Punta del Este to the laid-back vibes of Punta del Diablo, Uruguay's coast offers a beach for every mood. Uruguay may be small, but it's a country that knows how to leave a big impression. Whether you're a history buff, a foodie, a beach lover, or an adventure seeker, you'll find something to fall in love with here. In Uruguay, every journey is filled with unforgettable experiences. So that's the enchanting tale of Uruguay, a small country with a big heart. In the span of a mere 15 minutes, we've journeyed through Uruguay's rich tapestry of history, spanning from its pre-colonial era, through its colonial period, onto independence, and into the modern era. Throughout it all, Uruguay has shown its resilience and spirit, weathering the storms of history to emerge as a vibrant, culturally rich nation. Let's not forget the vibrant Uruguayan culture that has been shaped by the country's diverse history. With its unique blend of indigenous and European influences, Uruguay's culture is a colorful mosaic that is mirrored in its music, dance, and gastronomy. Whether it's the pulsating rhythms of candombe, the elegant steps of the tango, or the mouth-watering aroma of a sizzling chivito, Uruguay's culture is a feast for the senses. And speaking of feasts, we've also explored the tantalizing array of tourist attractions that Uruguay has to offer. From the sun-soaked beaches of Punta del Este to the cobbled streets of Colonia del Sacramento, from the bustling markets of Montevideo to the tranquil vineyards of Canelones, Uruguay offers a diverse range of experiences for every type of traveler. But let's not overlook the true heart of Uruguay, its people. Warm, welcoming, and fiercely proud of their country, Uruguayans are the true embodiment of their country's spirit. It's a spirit that's reflected in every aspect of Uruguayan life, from the passionate cheers at a football match to the quiet contemplation of a mate ritual. In conclusion, despite its size, Uruguay has shown us that it has a lot to offer. It's a country that's rich in history, vibrant in culture, and brimming with attractions. It's a place where the old meets the new, where tradition meets innovation, and where every visitor is welcomed with open arms. Uruguay, the smallest Spanish-speaking country in South America, is truly a hidden gem waiting to be discovered.